some kind of ramp was used to raise the stone blocks. The type of ramp, because the ramps were dismantled once the pyramid was complete, only fragments of evidence are available to archaeologists. But it was ramps and sheer muscle power that allowed millions of blocks to eat. Legend has long suggested that the pyramids were built by armies of slaves.
Think about it. When you examine the facts, is it really ridiculous? So the pyramids are weirdly mathematical, or aliens, just cause. So what if aliens built the pyramids? What do you think? Do you think that aliens did it? Are the pyramids waiting to activate at the dawn of the War of the World?
This was due undoubtedly to the extremely heavy weight of all the stone buildings and statuary. However, any type of building on such a risky foundation as a delta river would have had quite a difficult time lasting for very long. Yonaguni, Japan. One of the more intriguing sunken cities may not have been a city at all. Off the coast of Japan lies a unique underwater pyramid that some say was fashioned by human hands and others claim to be a natural geological formation. The legends surrounding it tell a tale of Mu, a city that supposedly existed somewhere in the Pacific that mirrors the intrigue and mystery of Atlantis. Is this pyramidal structure, which is called the Yonaguni Monument, evidence of this civilization? The man who may hold the answer is named Masaki Kimura. He's been studying this unique structure since the 1990s. His expertise in seismology and marine geology allows him to be highly professional and precise in his research and surveying of the site. Yonagumi's most impressive feature is the massive pyramid that stretches 290 meters long and rises 26 meters high above the ocean floor. People compare it to the nearby Shuri Castle in Okinawa, which fuels the idea that it was man-made in the past. The accounting of why the city sunk beneath the waves was due to an earthquake that affected the landscape around 1000 BCE. There's enough geological evidence to prove that this happened and made a considerable change in the height of the land. The age of this sunken Greek city was also called into question due to the apparent high design found within it. Some suggest that it could not be as old as other people think because it had elements found primarily in construction projects much later. The general idea is that Pavlopetri was the main city in the area visited by farmers, fishermen, and textile craftspeople. It was a place of trade and religious worship. Some of these details were determined because of the artifacts discovered in the area. For example, the archaeologists discovered weights that women and children would have used to work looms and produce textiles and cloth for clothing. The geographic position of the city would have made it exceptionally important for trade as early as 3000 BC. The regular shipping routes over the Mediterranean and Aegean seas would have added to the riches that allowed it to grow so great. It would have also contributed to the desire of the city planners and builders to make it as impressive as possible. The study of the area shifted to a more archaeological focus. Experts in marine archaeology came in and used sub-bottom profiling to get an accurate scan of the buildings and their foundations below the water. This gave them a detailed three-dimensional plan of the city in the Bay of Cambay. What they found was two massive blocks filled with different types of building to study the artifacts more closely to actually determine when they were created. Carbon dating has been called into question quite a few times in the science of archaeology. From a geological standpoint, experts believe that the Bay of Cambay region would have submerged near the end of the last ice age when the ocean levels rose. This occurred approximately 10,000 years ago. That would align with the expectation that the city was that old, but it still remains difficult to believe that the more advanced people who lived there were simply wiped out, and no one else appeared in their place for thousands of years. As with all of these mysterious sunken cities, much more research is needed. Baia and Portus Julius, Italy. Over 2,000 years ago, the Roman nobles and rich merchants would travel to Baia to relax, have fun, and hobnob with the other elite of this ancient society. They had expensive villas with luxurious pools and heated spas. It seems a place very much like Las Vegas, a sunken city. While stories of underwater cities that sunk beneath the waves many years ago come from all regions of the world, there are some that were only discovered relatively recently. A couple of people from Canada were working for the Cuban government in 2001 on a survey project to find sunken ships. Instead, they found a highly unusual geometric structure at the bottom of the ocean. It lies close to the Guanahaspibes Peninsula. It was first discovered by Dr. Paul Weinswig and his wife, Pauline Zalitsky, through the use of underwater sonar. While most of the ocean floor was flat, like a vast plain, these three-dimensional protuberances looked very much like man-made buildings. The mystery surrounding this underwater structure still remains. While some people were quick to assume that the ruins were actually the fabled Atlantis, the location and depth of the potential structures would make it too young. Scientists know that when the last ice age ended approximately 10,000 BCE, the water levels rose considerably.
What is this? An offering to Poseidon? The Greeks are praying for a safe return home. We should take it to the temple of Poseidon.
I think we should burn it.
Burn it, my prince. It's a gift to the gods.
Father, burn it.
Thick ice. We didn't have ground-penetrating radar until 1958. So for a
map that we're looking at here, another 16th century map, Mercator includes it in one of his atlases. And here we see Antarctica looking a little bit different, with mountains clearly visible along the coast and rivers running down from those mountains in places where great glaciers are known to run today. It looks on this map as though Antarctica is partially deglaciated. The center of the continent appears to be featureless and ice-covered, but the coast is showing these unglaciated features. What might that mean? This is a map by Philippe Bourg, accurate representation of the subglacial topography of Antarctica. I think it's much too close to the reality to be dismissed entirely. I think that much more research needs to be done into these anomalous early maps and into the source maps that they rely upon for their information, because we just may be looking at the faint fingerprints of a lost civilization, of a navigating, seafaring civilization that explored and mapped the entire globe long before what we call history.